Just an urgent message for anyone who's just started playing Helldivers 2, or maybe you're a returning player and you want some tips to help you get back into the game, or maybe you've never played before, or maybe you don't even know what this game is, or this video could be for you. So, welcome to 5 tips that I wish I knew when I started playing Helldivers 2. Enjoy. Alright guys, tip number 1 is know your enemy. Every faction may require you to use different equipment, weapons and stratagems to be able to successfully extract and complete your missions. For example, if you know you're going to be fighting bugs, which a lot of them only require a medium penetration apart from the larger targets, then you might want to consider something like a light armor weapon, like maybe something like the Liberators or one of the marksman rifles, because you can simply give yourself a stratagem such as a rocket launcher or a heavy machine gun, which can help deal with the bigger targets depending on the difficulty you're playing on. Same with your secondary weapons. Each secondary weapon obviously has their own different statistics and things they're better at fighting. Just to give you an example, the Senator is a great all-rounder as it has the ability to penetrate heavily armoured targets. So this is fantastic, especially against the bots, where so many of them are medium armour. Because you have the heavy armour penetrating capability, you're not going to be too worried about facing those bigger targets. Also, something like a grenade pistol is fantastic against the bugs, as one of these can be used to destroy bug hives very quickly and efficiently without having to worry about running out of grenades. This same tip can be also applied to your throwables. So if maybe you don't particularly want to use a grenade launcher and you just want a standard throwable that you can use to clear out hives or enemies, you can maybe look at something like the G6 frag grenade or the G12 high explosive. But there are also other throwables which might not necessarily be as good for clearing hives, but might have other specific bonuses. For example, the G123 thermite is a fantastic anti-tank grenade, so it's great at destroying the robot fabricators. It's also very good at destroying the bug chargers and bug hive tyrants. So each grenade, as well as secondary and primary weapons, all have their own bonuses and specific uses. Exactly the same with stratagems, which I will just briefly touch on now. So when selecting your stratagems for your mission, it's really important to remember that you want to try and cover as many different enemy types that you can. So if you know that you're going to be fighting larger enemies, something like the rail cannon or something like an Eagle airstrike can be great at effectively destroying bigger enemies quickly without having to burn through all of your special primary or secondary ammo. Exactly the same with supply stratagems. If you want to take a special weapon, something like a grenade launcher or a flamethrower, these can be very good depending on the enemy you're fighting. Exactly the same with backpacks. If you want to traverse terrain quickly, something like a jump pack might be good for you. Or if you want to clear out smaller clusters of enemies, or maybe bot outposts, something like the portable hell bomb can be good. Also, we can't forget about things like the guard dog backpacks, which are effectively sentries that you carry around on your back, can help cover you, especially if you're on solo missions where you can't rely on teammates to maybe protect you while you're completing things. And exosuits and fast recon vehicles if you're just trying to traverse terrain quickly without worrying about your stamina. As well as that, we also have the defensive stratagems, which are all effectively turrets or fortifications, which are fantastic for any kind of defense mission or when you are just there to eradicate the enemies. Any of these are good, but they are all, just like the other stratagems, will have specific traits. So some turrets may be very good at laying down fire like the Gatling sentry, but it only does medium armor penetrating, compared to something like the rocket sentry, which does shoot slower, but it's an anti-tank weapon, so this is fantastic against those bigger bots, bugs or squids. Things like the field generator relays are effectively just like a bubble shield, but instead of it being on your back, it can cover an entire area. And also we have things like the manned gun emplacements like the anti-tank or the heavy machine gun. Effectively every stratagem in the game is good, it's just about preference, but knowing your enemy can be very important when it comes to selecting what you're going to be taking into battle with you. This also applies to the different boosters that are available, so you can choose from basic things like providing minor damage reduction or increases stamina capacity and recovery, to maybe more unique boosters such as mounting weapons on top of resupply bots, so they can also effectively work as turrets as well as giving you ammunition, or some other experimental boosters like Dead Sprint, where effectively when you run out of stamina you can still keep running, but it will just slowly drain away your health. So this is fantastic if you just need to run away from a big enemy horde. And also there are other things like speeding up the extraction shuttle times, or giving chances to retrieve additional samples, and other strange things like stun pods, which effectively stun the ground as soon as you land. All these boosters have their own uses, and when you pair them correctly with teammates, you can have a very effective team even before you've got into game. So tip number 2 is remembering the importance of your map. You can simply open the map if you're on PC by playing tab, and if you use your mouse scroll you can scroll out and view the entire map. The map is great as it gives you the ability to mark certain points of interest, main objectives and other side missions, and the extraction zone once you've completed everything. The map is extremely useful as it can help show you what's nearby, and if you're close enough to a point of interest, sometimes you can see a question mark on your map, which can effectively show you that you're near something which might contain loot, ammo, samples or super credits. All these things are obviously useful to your game and can be incredibly beneficial if you're literally just grinding samples. Don't forget to check your map. Just to show you what a point of interest can look like, it can vary depending on the map you're playing as, but sometimes they can have samples like this. They normally have 1 or 2 ammo boxes, and sometimes they have grenades and stims, but also there can be metal crates which you can blow open, and sometimes there's bunker doors which require 2 players to open simultaneously to unlock the loot inside. So tip number 4 is very simple. It's just about communicate with your team and don't be afraid to ask for help. So in the example I'm providing, we are currently loading in all of the ammunition for the artillery weapon. So once this has been completed, we can simply establish communication, and then we can put a message in the chat to say that 2 mini nukes are in the artillery. This is just a little bit of team coordination, but it just means that if we need to use something like an artillery, then all of the team now knows that we've got 2 nukes that are effectively able to use whenever we like. If you maybe don't want to use the in-game chat though, don't forget that you have the communications wheel, which you can open at any time, which has a selection of responses, whether it's to say thank you or to say sorry, or if you need supplies, whatever it may be. So don't forget to communicate with your team, because Most of the time, divers are more than happy to provide you with a stim or point out ammo, or even help you with things such as opening doors of bunkers. Now, tip 4 can be linked back to tip 1, where effectively it's experiment with weapons and stratagems. Thanks to the constant updates of new war bonds, we are constantly getting new equipment, new armor, and sometimes new stratagems as part of these war bonds. These are great as they help give us more reasons to keep playing and try out new weapons and strategies. And remember, if you don't necessarily get on with a type of weapon or stratagem, no problem. Just wait till you finish, come back and rearm yourself with something that you'd rather get on with. It's as easy as that. Tip 5 is by far the most important tip of today, and that is to have fun. This game is great whether you're playing solo, with friends, or just with randoms. Now get out there and defend freedom. Good luck. Alright, you made it to the end of the video. Well done. That's it for today. So if you did enjoy, just drop me a like down below. It really means a lot to me. If you haven't already, please subscribe and drop me a comment down below. Did you find any of these tips useful? Is there anything else that maybe I didn't mention that you think is worth mentioning? Please let me know. I always read comments and will always respond. Take care, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.